Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a review on the new Pat McGrath Labs Mothership 9 Huetopian Dream eyeshadow palette. This is actually my first Pat McGrath Labs Mothership palette. The only other palette that I'm familiar with is this little mini of the Mothership Sublime Bronze Temptation, one that I picked up around the holidays for half price. I knew at one point in time that I would purchase one of the big Mothership palettes. I was just waiting for the right one to come around that really caught my interest, and as soon as I saw this one, this was the one for me. So I'm very excited to finally have my first one to play around with, and I decided to do a dedicated review to this just because I'm so excited for this palette. So the outer packaging is absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to open this and play around. And I just personally love the color story of this palette. Pat McGrath is a luxe brand. The packaging is hefty. You have luxe materials going into making this. I'm just gonna take off all plastic. I know some people like to hear that, like me. Here's what the mirror looks like. You can see it has those beveled edges on it. And here we have the color story. This retails for $170 Canadian, 125 US. This is the most expensive palette that I personally own now. It is pricey, it is luxe, and I'm ready to dive into this. 10 shades included. It has this little card in the box that shows you all the shade names, 5 different finishes. We have mattes, shimmers, metallics. We have 2 duochromes and then 1 trichrome. I'm gonna swatch all the shades for you so you guys can see how they look like on my skin, but we're gonna play around with this, do a whole look with it so you can actually see it applied on my eyes. For my initial swatches, I can tell that Shockwave, the coral shade in the palette, has some slight staining on my finger, which you will see. Initial impression of just the swatches, all but one really swatched beautifully. So the only one that I personally don't like the kind of texture of it is Bronze Solaris 005. It looks a little bit chunky compared to the other ones. I will definitely not apply certain shades on their own. Like, that's definitely one that I'd want to use as a topper or use a mixing medium with just to get the full effect of that shade. But otherwise, everything just swatched as is, really swatched beautifully. I think I'm gonna have to use that coral, honestly, because you guys know me and coral, like, it's my favorite color. Have you guys zoomed in? We're gonna go in with Shockwave, which is that beautiful coral shade. And I'm going to be using a BK Beauty 202 brush. I'll have all the products I'm wearing currently, this obviously linked, the brushes I'm using. Everything will be linked down below for you guys in case you're curious. Pat McGrath did come out with a stick which helps adhere the shadows to the lids and make them pop. I did not want to pick that up and try it with this palette just because I felt like some people like me would just want to purchase the palette and not have to purchase an additional, I think it was $42 on top of the palette just to amp up the shadows. I'm going to use what I have just to do it myself. But from what I'm hearing, that stick is actually really good as a base for these shadows to really pop. Maybe in the future I will pick it up. This coral is so pigmented. I'm just in heaven, honestly, with my first Mothership palette. As a makeup lover, this was one of those moments I was waiting for. I was waiting for the moment where I'd find my Mothership palette. Number 9 was it. Considering doing a halo eye, I think I just want to really blow out this coral shade. Pigmentation's there, blendability. It does stain a little bit, and I can imagine that on my eyes as well. I will update you guys in the comment section at the end of the day. So I wanted to get this video up for you guys. Now I'm going to take the Extreme Plum Noir, which is right here, and I'm just going to deepen up the outer corner slightly, and then I'm going to have to use that Venetian Orchid all over my lid. I've been dying to put that on my eyes. So this is just going to provide a little bit of depth. I like honestly doing all matte looks. For my own personal curiosity, I just wanted to see how the mattes played with each other first before I went in with any of the other finishes. Blending effortlessly together, still holding its pigment and not getting muddy. Very nice formula. I think what really spoke to me about this palette is how well these shades would play for green eyes. So if you have any sort of green in your eyes like me, Like these colors are just made for us. Just makes the color pop. Like this Plum Noir shade is something that I honestly would use just as a smoky wing liner on most days, just because of the undertone of it is so perfect. Then going in with the Astral Venetian Gold, could not wait to play with that shade right there. It's going all over my lid. I'm gonna try applying it with a little bit of setting spray, just wetting my brush and just packing it on that way. We'll see if we'll need anything more to have it adhere. Hopefully there's not too much fallout, even though I expect there will be, just from the swatch. And then I'll go in with my finger. So that put it down lightly. Just wanted a little bit of that setting spray down so that when I go in with my finger, it sticks a little bit better. So that's kind of how I'm gonna work it for both eyes. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit on my brush first and then stick more pigment down because it's gonna lessen the fallout, even though I see one that just popped on my nose. It's so pretty though. When you just apply it with the brush, you get more of that gold, but when you put your finger in, you get that lavender and super thin. Look at that. It's just dipped in and still like keeps going. I don't even want to wipe it off. I just want to put that everywhere. We're gonna have to deal with the fallout. Obviously, if I were to use this again, I would do my face first, just because of all the glitter fallout. And then because I just want to put this all over my face, I'm going to take that Shockwave Coral shade and use it as a blush. We'll see how that goes. Super pigmented. Just start off lightly. How do you think that looks? I think it's pretty. That's just lightly done. I don't want to do too much at once. And I love it as a blush, as I thought I would. Do you love coral as much as me? I'm just gonna go off camera, finish off the rest of my eyes, a little bit of highlight, and I'll be back to give you my final thoughts on the palette. So here is the final look. I just put a little bit of Secret Eden underneath my lash line to finish off the look with a little bit of mascara. And now I'm gonna tell you my final thoughts on the new Huetopia Dream eyeshadow palette. I obviously love it. I love the color story. That's what drew me in. The quality is amazing. As I said, the only shade that I really didn't like the texture of is the Bronze Solaris. And I just need to play around with that one a little bit more to find the medium that's gonna work best with that shadow for me. For Venetian Orchid, I definitely would prefer maybe a glitter glue like the Lit Cosmetics one, just to adhere it to my lid if I want something super opaque like I did. When I initially went in with just a light layer and some setting spray, that was fine, but I do notice some transfer into my crease, and I did get a ton of glitter fallout on my face. Obviously, I would do my eyes first when using this palette, especially the shades that do have that glitter in it. But overall, I'm very happy with my purchase. For me personally, I can't tell you whether it's worth it for you or not to purchase something so pricey. It's definitely a personal thing. I myself don't think any makeup is worth such a hefty price tag, but as a makeup lover, I knew there would come a time when I found the Mothership palette that really spoke to me, and I definitely wanted to add one to my collection, and I'm very happy that I chose this one. I'm happy I waited and didn't go out and purchase the first one that she had, because this story for me personally just speaks to me on a personal level, and I absolutely love the shade and texture and finish variety in here, and it's all wearable to me. Even the glittery shades, the purple, like this is wearable for me. I know everyone's definition of wearable is different, but I'm gonna get so much use out of this. The formulas are incredible, and I cannot wait to play around further and come up with more looks with this palette. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, the swatches, little demo to see how maybe the shades that you were looking at perform on my eyes. The shades that I used were the ones that really stood out to me and I really wanted to create my first look with. Again, I'll definitely be creating more with this palette, and I hope you found this review helpful. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're going to be picking this palette up, or if you don't want to, let me know in the comment section below. I always love having discussions with you in the comment section below. I know some people were saying they were going to skip it just based on purchasing other palettes from Pat McGrath because of the similar shades. However, since this is my first one, I feel like all of them are unique to my collection enough to warrant the purchase for me specifically. I will have everything linked down below for you guys in case you're curious to check it out, as well as all the other things that I used on my face to complete this look. Also, let me know, so many things, if you picked up the IntensifEYES Artistry wand, because I want to know if that is worth the investment for me, especially since I'm diving into the Pat McGrath Mothership world now. Is that something that I should pick up? Have you tried it? Is it worth it? Are my other mixing mediums going to be fine for me? Do I need that? I'm thinking I could probably pass and use what I have, but if it's truly mind-blowing, I will pick it up for you guys and review that too. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. Also, don't forget to subscribe before you leave if you haven't already. I would love for you to join the family by hitting the red button, the bell if you want to be notified of all my future videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one.